This is a chapter 7, packing. Let's start this chapter. I said I had packed. I rather pride myself on my packing. The poet is talking about himself. I rather pride myself on my packing. Packing is one of those many things that I feel I know more about than any one person living. It surprises me myself sometimes how many such things there are. I impressed the fact upon George and Harris and told them, George and Harris, his friend, they had better leave to whole matter entirely to me. They fell into the suggestion with a readiness that had something uncanny about it. George spread himself over the easy chair and Harris cocked his legs on the table. This was hardly what I intended. What I had meant, of course, was that I should boss the job and that Harris and George should potter about, do something unimportant things under my directions. I pushing them aside every now and then with, oh, you, here, let me do it. There you are, simple enough, really teaching them, as you might say. They are taking it in the way they did irritated me. There is nothing does irritated me more than seeing other people sitting about doing nothing when I am working. I opened the bag. इसमें क्या है, पैकिंग करता है जो राइटर, तो वो अपनी कुछ ना कुछ चीज़ इसमें लेफ्ट हो जाती है, कुछ ना कुछ भूल जाता है. सो आई ओपन द बैग एंड पैक्ड द बूट्स इन. बूट्स भूल जाता है. एंड देन जस्ट एज आई एम गोइंग टू क्लोज इट अ हॉरिबल आइडिया अकर टू मी. हैड आई पैक्ड माई टूथब्रश. फिर उसको अचानक याद आता है कि यार उसने टूथब्रश पैक किया है. I don't know how it was, but I never do whatever I have packed my toothbrush. My toothbrush is a thing that haunts me when I am traveling and makes my life a misery. I dream that I haven't packed it. मैं हमेशा ऐसा ही ड्रीम देखता हूँ. सबसे ज़्यादा बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है मेरे लिए जो हमेशा मैं भूल जाया करता हूँ. The writer is saying about his टूथब्रश. और कभी कभी मेरे को ऐसा ड्रीम भी आता है कि मैंने उसको पैक नहीं किया है. एंड वेकअप इन अ कोल्ड प्रेस्पिरेशन एंड गेट आउट ऑफ बेड एंड हॉन्ट फॉर इट. एंड इन द मॉर्निंग आई पैक इट बिफोर आई हैव यूज्ड इट एंड हैव टू अनपैक अगेन टू गेट इट. एंड इट इज ऑलवेज द लास्ट थिंग आई टर्न आउट ऑफ द बैग एंड देन आई रीपैक एंड फॉरगेट इट and have to rush upstairs for it at the last moment and carry it to the railway station wrapped up in my pocket handkerchief. Of course I had to turn every mortal thing out now, and of course I could not find it. I searched the things up into much and some state that they must have been before the world was created. And when Charles resigned, of course, I found George and Harris 18 times over, but I couldn't find my own. I put the things back one by one and held everything up and shook it. Then I found it inside a boot. I repacked once more. When I had finished, George asked if the soap was in. I said I didn't care a hang whether the soap was in or whether it wasn't. And I slammed the bag shut and strapped it and found that I had packed my spectacles in it. And I had to reopen. उसको दोबारा से याद आता है कि वो अपना स्पेक्टिकल, अपना चश्मा जो है उसी में ही उसने उसको बंद कर दिया, तो दोबारा उसको रीओपन करता है. आई गॉट शट अप फाइनली एट 10:05 p.m. and then there remained the hampers to do. Harris said that we should be wanting to start in less than 12 hours' time and thought and that he and George had better do the rest. I had agreed and sat down, and they had a go. They began in a light-hearted spirit, eventually intending to show how to do it. I made no comment. I only waited with the expectations of George Harris in the worst baker in this world, and I looked at the piles of plates and cups and cakes and tomatoes, etc., and felt that the things would soon become exciting. It did. They started with breaking a cup. That was the first thing they did. They did that just to show you what they could do and to get you interested. Then Harris packed the strawberry jam on the top of the tomato and squeezed it. स्ट्रॉबेरी जैम टमाटो उसके ऊपर रख दिया जिससे कि वो सारे स्क्वैच हो गए. एंड दे हैड टू पिक आउट द टमाटो विद अ टीस्पून, और फिर टीस्पून से उसको उठाने लगे. एंड देन इट वॉज जॉर्ज टर्न. अब जॉर्ज की टर्न थी. एंड ही ट्रॉड ऑन द बटर पर वो अपना उसने पैर रख दिया. एंड आई डिडंट से एनीथिंग, बट आई केम ओवर एंड सेट ऑन द एज ऑफ द टेबल एंड वॉच दैम. It irritated them more than anything I could have said. I felt that I made them nervous and excited, and they stepped on things and put things behind them, and they couldn't find them when they wanted them, and they packed the pies at the bottom. Pies को bottom में पैक कर दिया, and put heavy things on top, और heavy things top पर रख दी, and smashed the pies, और pies जो थी smashed हो गई. They upset salt over everything, and so for the butter I never saw two men do more with 1 and 2 pence worth of butter in my whole life than they did. After George, they got it off his slippers. They tried to put it in the kettle. They wouldn't go in, and what was in wouldn't come out. They did scrape it out at last and put it down on a chair, and Harris sat on it, and it stuck to him, and they went looking for it all over the room. I will take my oath I put it down on that chair, said George, staring at the empty seat. I saw you to do it myself not a minute ago, said Harris. Then they started round the room again looking for it, and then they met again in the center and stared at one another. Most extraordinary thing I ever heard, said George. So mysterious, said Harris. Then George got round at the back of the Harris and saw it. Why, here it is all the time, he exclaimed indignantly. Where? Cried Harris, spinning around. Stand still, can't you? Roared George, flying after him, and they got it off and packed it in the teapot. Montmorency was in it all. Montmorency, their dog's name. Of course, Montmorency's ambition in life is to get in the way, and we saw it. If he can scream in anywhere where they particularly is not wanted, and be a perfect nuisance, and made people made and have things thrown at the head, then they feels his head has not been wasted. To get somebody to stumble over him, curse him steadily for an hour, is the highest aim and object. And when he was succeeded in accomplishing this, his conceit becomes quite unbearable. He came and sat down on things just when they were wanted to be packed, and he labored under the fixed belief that whenever Harish or George reached out their hand for anything, it was his cold, damp nose that they wanted. He put his leg into the jam and he worried the teaspoon, and he pretended that the lemons were rats and got into the hamper and killed there of them before Harris could land him with the frying pan. Harris said, I encouraged him. I didn't encourage him. A dog like that doesn't want any encouragement. It's the natural, original sin that is born in him that makes him do things like that. The packing was done at 12:50 p.m. and Harris sat on the big hamper and said he hoped nothing would be found broken. George said that if anything was broken, it was broken, which reflection seemed to comfort him. He also said he was already for bed. We were all ready for bed. Harris was to sleep with us that night and we went upstairs. We tossed for beds and Harris had to sleep with me, he said. Do you prefer the inside or the outside, Jeremy? J for Jeremy, the writer's name. And I said I generally prefer to sleep inside a bed. Harris said it was odd. Harris said, what time shall I wake you follows? Harris said, 7. I said no 6 because I wanted to write some letters. Harris and I had a bit of a row over it, but at last split the difference and said 6:30. Wake us at 6:30, George, we said. George made no answer and we found on going over and that he had been asleep for some time. So we placed the bath where he could tumble into it when getting out in the morning and went to bed ourselves. So this is a chapter written by Jerome K. Jerome, and this is an extract from 3 Men in a Book. So if you have any doubt, read this chapter once or twice thoroughly. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you very much.